Till now, we learned how to create three types of variables: string, a number, and a Boolean. So we're going to introduce a new variable type that's called list. So when we run those variables, what exactly is happening in the memory, we are creating a box for each, and then there is one value stored inside this box. But for the list, it's different, where you can have multiple values. Each of those values we can call them an item. So how to create a list? First, you're going to need to have a name similar to any normal variable. I will call it an L. And then here where you're going to have a square brackets, open and close. So when I run that, I want you to see here what exactly is happening in the memory, where there is pointer pointing into some items, but till now, we don't have anything there. So that's what it's called an empty list. When we ask you to create an empty list, it would be first similar to creating a variable where you're going to have the name, the equal, and then the square brackets. Let's try to fill this empty list. To do that, you're just going to go inside the empty list, and then you're going to start filling it with the value. So as an example here, I want to print, or I want to get add hello as a one item, and then I will add another item, then I will add a third item. And let's see now what exactly is happening in the memory. When I click visualize, I want you to see that there is a pointer, and then this time there is not only one box. We have the main box that's called L, but inside it, there is a small boxes. The first box called hello, the second box called item 2, the third box called item 3. And there is no concept here. If you notice, each of those items, they have a number above them. This number identify their position. So this is the first one. And remember, because like in coding, usually we count from 0. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So now I am creating a list that has 3 items. The first item is 0, the second item is 2, the third item is 3. If I want to print this list, you can use it similar to printing any other variable. You can just put the variable in the printing, and then, but this time the output is a little bit different. When I clicked print, in the output, I am printing the whole list, including the brackets, including the comma, including the quotation or a single quotation. Everything is printed. So this is an example how to create a list. First, I introduce how to create an empty list. I will call it like L0, which is an empty list. And this is another example of creating a list with item. And here I was printing the list. So what exactly going to happen if I am printing my empty list? I am printing the square box and there's no item inside. So this is the first technique in how you can print a list. There is also multiple ways to print a list. And in fact, list works perfectly with the for loop. We did introduce the for loop concept before, but we're going to reintroduce the concept now again, and we're going to see how we can use it with the list. So if I want to print the item in the list, but I don't really want to print the square bracket and I don't really want to print the quotation. To do that, the method 2 to print, you can say for, okay, the item. For the for loop, you need the keyword for, and then you're going to need to use a variable. It could be any name, and then you will put the keyword in, and then you will put your list name. So this is my list, and then colon, And then the next line would be exactly similar to any print statement, which is a print, and I am printing the item. So here you have two names. You have the list name and you have the variable you create. Which one we want to create? If you are printing, if you are printing the list, what exactly it's going to happen? It's going to print the whole list, including a square bracket and the comma. So let me show you the example again. So here, if you're not really sure which is which, if you're saying print the list, what exactly is you're doing? You are printing the list, the whole list, over and over and over. And this is not what we're trying to do. We only want to print item. So going back here to fix that, I am copying the item. And now when I click execute, I am printing the items inside my list. So this is how to print everything, including including the brackets. This one, how to print only the items. Okay, so that's two techniques how to print in a list. And going back a little bit here, if you can see in the indices where I have in the memory, I have indices. And then within the indices, I have like the value. So every box has two information, indices and values. So what if I want to print the indices and the values? There is also an existing method that can help you to do that. It's called enumerate. So I will change that one to be item 1. So the third way is to print both the index and the value or the item. To do that, you will write the keyword for, and then instead of creating one variable, you're creating two variables here. The first variable is the index. It could be any name. It does not have to be exactly this name. And then the second one would be the value or the item. And the keyword here, it's in the same, but the different is this line. Here, and instead of just adding the list, you will add the word enumerate. And then you will add the list name inside it. So now to print. I want to print index and I will print value. So I would say print. You can print it in a different way. You can just say, I will have the first line, which is going to print the index. I have the second line, which is going to print the value. And then when I run and I want to try to print that, I am printing 0 item 1, 1 item 2, 2 item 3. Or I can print them also in one line by using the F prints that we've been using this semester. So printing the first one, quotation, the second one. So here I will have the index, and here I will have the value. And then when I click run, I am printing that. Okay, so this is the first technique to print everything. This is the second technique only to print the item. This is the third technique to print the value and the index. For every item, you're printing the value and the index. So let's add to that. What I recommend to pause the video and to try to create different types of for loops to print the indices. Try to create a list and try to print them in 3 different ways. Okay, so now we're done from the printing. Let's move to how we can add to the list. So now we know how to create a list. Okay, I want to know how to add. So there are several techniques how to add to a list. The first technique, and from its name, because like the list is a chain of certain boxes or items connected, we are appending to that. So the keyword to add is, the first keyword to add is append. So as an example, I will replace my list. I will create another one. I will call it fruits. And I will put an apple. Okay. And then let me run that to show you there's only like one value inside, which is index 0. So now I want to add more fruits. To do that, you will have the variable name of the list. And then this is the tricky part, not the tricky part. This is the special part of the list. You will put dot. You remember math dot, random dot. So here it's the same concept. Dots mean there is an existing method. Someone already did that, where you can just use it. So, and then you will put the keyword append, and then you will put the brackets, and then inside, what is the value you're trying to append? So let's assume I'm trying to append an orange. Okay. So we had apple as index 0. And now I am adding an orange. Does that mean I am adding an orange before the apple or after the apple? From the word append, that's mean I am connecting. So it's going to be after. So if I'm going to ask you a question, what is the index of of orange? You would tell me it is 1. So this is one way how you can add to a list. There is also another way to add to the list, which is also using a keyword. This keyword, from its name, I'm going to add, but this time it's called insert. So I will insert into the list. It's the same syntax. So this is like the first one. And now the second technique, it's insert. Okay, but the format is a little bit different. The first one, we're only adding based on the value. The second one, you're going to add based on the index and the value. So here, what you're going to do, you're also going to put the brackets, but inside, or the parentheses, but inside, you will put a value, and then you will put, let's say it's going to be banana. Okay, and then you will put the value. So index and value. The first one is only append where you're only appending a value. The second one, I am deciding where exactly I am having my value. So here I decided I want to have it in the 0. Let me run that. So I forced the banana to be 0. It did not added or appended to the end. And I want you also to notice something. So let's go back. So here I have my list that has banana when I was here. When I append the orange just got a new index. But now when I use the insert, which is I'm squeezing it here, I want you to notice that the apple index changed based on its new location, and all the rest of items, their indices also change. So if you're squeezing something here, it will take the value and then everything else will be pushed to the back. So if I have, uh, let me add another one here. So I will add apple, banana, orange, mango. Okay. So, and I will try to squeeze it in number 1, not 0. So going back here to check. So I have apple and mango. This is 0, this is 1, and now I'm adding orange. So I have 0, 1, 2. So now I want to squeeze banana here. So what exactly is going to happen? Apple will not get affected. Banana will claim the new index, and mango and orange will be pushed by 1 index. So every time when you squeeze an index, it will fit perfectly and all the indices will change accordingly. So if I give you a question, what is the current index after running this code? You should know which indices are swift or switched or changed, and which indices that did not get affected based on the position I'm trying to insert the value. Okay, so now you learn 2 techniques: how to insert a value, How about updating the value? So if we have like a normal variable, let's say I have x equal 5, and I want to change the value of x, I'm just going to say x equals 6, which is I'm using the concept of the assigning. One equal is assigning. The same logic is applied here, where I am also gonna like use the assign, but it's gonna be a little bit different because going into um, okay, going into the list where I'm having a list, and then this is called L, and then inside list, I have a small list that this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So when you click equal, if you're just gonna put L equal number, this is going to be very confusing because like L has like multiple small locations. So where exactly you want to change, you need to identify which item. So instead of saying L equal, this is going to be a little bit different. You need to identify which index. So here it would be like L, and then you need to identify which one. So if I say L1 and then equal onion, then this is the correct syntax because first you need to identify the list. Second, you need to identify where exactly you want to change. Let me delete all that. Now I will give you an example. So to create or to update a value, I have my list which is called fruits. Okay, and then I want to change the value of my apple. I want to replace that with berry. Okay, so let's go here. And here I am having my orange. I'm adding the banana, and then I am changing that to berry. So this code will update. And this code, it's not only for update, it has another usage of it, which is the access. If you use it inside a print statement, you are accessing the value. So here you're saying go to the box that's called fruits, go inside it to the small box that has the number 0. So when I print that, I am printing the value inside it. So first is the list, second is which box. So here, this is a way how you access it. So if I'm gonna tell you check the first index where it has the value or the variable fruit, you will come here and you will use that. It's similar how you use X. It's similar how you say if X equal berry. Okay, print yes. You can use it in the same way. You can just take all that and put it here and treat it as a value. So that is very valid. So let me run this code. I am printing this. So you can use it for access or you can use it for update. If you assign it with equal, it is the update. If you just use it, this is the access. There is also another technique with the list called finding index. So if I want to find or identify a certain index, okay, let's say here I don't really know what is the index of my banana. I did a lot of things and I did like back and forth, and I kept changing, playing them, and now I don't really know what is the index. And I need to know what is the index. So it would be the same. You will use the dot syntax, and you're just going to say index. And then here we're gonna put the curly bracket, the brackets, not the square one. And then here inside, you will have the banana. Okay. And then let's print that. It's telling you the banana is index number 1. So if you have a list and I'm asking you to find where exactly is the banana, you will like create an if statement, and then you will like try to find the banana. If this is equal the banana, okay, you will print banana is in, okay, and then you will put the index. Or I'm just going to print the index. But I don't want to make it more complicated by backslashing it. It is 1. Okay. So this is how also you can use the accessing of the find index. Okay, so now we did add, we did update, we did access. There is also one more thing, which is the remove. When you add something, you need to remove it. So to remove it, you will do the same concept. You will have the name of the list, and then you will put dot remove. From its name, you're removing. And then when you remove, you need to identify which value, not index, which value you want to remove. Because there's multiple ways to remove, one of them using value, one of them using index, similar to the add. Here we're adding value, here we're adding by specific location in the index. So if I remove that, and let's assume I have like multiple bananas in my list, okay? Let's assume I have all those bananas. So let me run this code. So I already have like 2 bananas here, and I'm adding another one here. And now I want to remove which of those bananas going to be removed. I have like 1, 2, 3. So if you're saying, or if you're assuming we're going to remove the first one, you're right. So here we remove the first appearance of the value. But that's cool. But what if I want to remove them all? I don't want to remove one. I want to remove them all. Here, where you're going to need to combine the remove with for loop. So remember the for loop? So it would be for, I would call it item, okay? In, and then this is called fruits, okay? And then my second line would be, what do you think? If you assume it's an if statement, that is correct, because I would need to identify, is my item, is the value equal? If I'm deleting the banana, I want to delete all the remain bananas. And then so first I need to find it. And then I would say fruits dot remove. Okay. And then I am removing the banana. So let's run this code. And you can see here, there's no more bananas. What's going to happen if you try to remove something does not exist? So assume here, I'm trying to remove cat. I don't have cat in my code. So when I run that, it will give you an error that the value does not exist on the list. So you can only remove an existing items in the list. So that's one way to remove. There's another way to remove. So here we did remove based on the value. There's another way where you can remove based on the index. So let's come here and add So this is like the first method, and then this is the second method. So here based on value, this one based on index. Okay, how to remove that? You will say, okay, so now it's a little bit different. It's not fruit. You're gonna start by putting the keyword del for delete. So delete, and then you will put the name of the list, and then here you will identify what is the index. So I need to know the index. I want to delete the banana. Okay, so this code will give me the index of the banana, or you can just put a number. I can just remove maybe 0. It doesn't have to be banana. So going back to the code, we're here. So I deleted the 0. See, the 0 was berry, and I deleted the 0. Okay, and then here I deleted all the other elements. Okay, I think I have a typo in one of my bananas. So now I want to create, okay, a similar code for delete. So this one is for the using that remove. How to convert that into delete. So if you're going to use the for loop in fruit, that's not going to work that much because you need the indices. So I will change that. I will have index. To use the index, I need to have the enumerate. So if the value, which is the item, equal the banana, okay, if the value equal the banana, I want to remove it. Okay, to remove it, you will put the delete. You will put the list name, and then you will put the index. Remember, we have index and we have value. When you delete from the index for the dill. But for the other one, dot remove, you put the value. So going here, deleting, I'm deleting everything. Okay, so that's two ways uh, to remove from the list. So now we learned how to add, we learned how to update, we learned how to access, find the index, remove using two techniques, how to for loops using the three different type of for loop, which is enlist, enumerate. There is a third for loop, okay? This for loop work with range. So you would say for, okay? And then I will call it an I, or I will call it a counter in range, okay? And here you will identify the range. Let's say the range is 5, and then print counter. Okay, I will mention something. So if I have a while loop, while you need 5 elements in the while loop. So first you need a counter or variable. I will say this one has 1. And then you need the loop. This is number 1. And then you're gonna need the loop guard, which is counter is less than 5. And then you need the loop body, loop guard. And then here you need the body. So I would say my body is just printing the counter. Okay. So this is the loop body. And then you need the what's gonna update the value, the incrementer, the updater. So here I would say counter plus equal 1. So this is how to create a while loop. You need to have those 4 elements to create a while loop. You need that. If you miss or confuse the logic, if any of them, you will have an infinite loop or loop that not gonna start. Okay? So going back here to the for loop, where is that here? So do you see the counter? This word represent counter equal 1. and represent counter plus equal 1. So number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Number 1 and 4 in this line. It will automatically embedded in the back end. It's already designed to speed up the process, and instead of writing every single time everything, if you have a specific number of steps that you know in advance, they created this for loop to represent that. So, and then in range, it's represent number 2. So in range mean counter is less than range. That's what's in range mean. And the body, it's the same. So number 3 will not change. So this while loop is equivalent to this while loop. So this is the third technique, how to create a for loop from a while loop. So if I give you a question, convert this for loop into while loop or this while loop into for loop, you should understand this one is equivalent to 1 and 4, this one equivalent to 2, number 3 does not change, and this is the equivalent. So now we taught you 3 different ways how to print a for loop. In list, in range, and enumerate. And in fact, string is treated as a list. What does that mean? So if I have a string and the string has my name, okay, or any name, and then I want to print that, I can use for loop for I in S, which is my string. I would say print I, okay? Let me remove all that. Let me remove all that. So it's going to treat it as a list, but in the memory, it's not really going to be sorted like similar to the other one. It would be like as in one word, but like of course each of those letter has its own index. If you remember the slicing works also with list, similar to how it works on the string because it's the same concept. And here I am printing every single letter. So string is a list, but a little bit different in when you initialize it, because you're going to put it between quotation and it will be considered as a list. There is one more techniques or methods that exist in Python for the list. If you have the list, if I'm going to go back here, if you have list, which is I, for I in range, okay, and this time, I would say 10, okay. I will print I plus 1. Okay, so I am using the range, but I'm using it a little bit different. So here I'm saying print I plus 1 until my I will reach to 10 or less than 10 and start from 1. Remember, we used to start from 0. You can force the starting point. Let's run that. So I am starting from 0, but I'm adding 1. So I'm printing 1. And then I'm adding 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to stop when it's 9. And because 10 is excluded, but here I'm adding 1, so I'm printing the 1. There is also another trick here. If you don't want to like step by 1, you can step by 2. So as an example here, instead of printing 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So do you see here? I print all the even numbers between 1 to 10 using this method. Okay, we have a specific list that can be created. That's called list comprehensive. Okay, what exactly is list comprehensive? It's going to be a simpler way to write the list in one line, and it will automatically fill the list with automatic values. So, and as an example, I will convert this one into a list. I will call it L, okay? I will put the square bracket. So now this is an empty list, similar to the concept we mentioned before. So you will start by looking into what exactly you're printing in the body. So here I am printing I plus 1. So you will take that, and that will be considered the first part inside your list comprehensive. And then the second part would be the in range. I mean, like sorry. The second part would be putting the loop condition, which is from 4i in range. Okay. So all that, you're just gonna take it and you're gonna put it here. So part one would be whatever you're printing in the body. Part two, gonna be the whole loop here. So that is part one, and this is part two. If I will run this code, beside it's gonna print, it's creating a list that's include all the even number. So I can even change that. It doesn't have to be plus one. It could be like multiply by 2 or multiply by 10. Okay, let's run that. It's gonna give me the values here. Also, I can like change the stepping, and instead of step by 3, I will step by 2, I'll step by 3. I'm changing. So this is called less comprehensive. And in less comprehensive, it's easiest and fastest way to create a list if you want to fill it dynamically using numbers. Okay. So we covered how to create an empty list, and we covered how to create or fill fill the list in using range. We covered three print type, and we also saw how we add, update, remove, how to loop and identify a certain element. So this is all you need to understand in this course or till now. For the list and the for loop, there is only one more thing, which is the slicing. So list is similar to any string where you can use and apply the slicing technique. If you remember the slicing, we covered that in our previous chapter. So I would say print, and then I have my L, and then for the slicing, if you keep it empty, it will print everything for you. If you put it -1, it will print everything backward. Oh no, nice one is the other one. It will print everything backward. If you put like no, this one will give you like the last two indices. If you put what else? Stepping by -1, this one is what's supposed to give you everything in reverse. So the -1 is the stepping in reverse. If it's 2, it would be skipping 2. If you don't want to start from the first one, you want to only get the last two elements, you will put -2 here. It will give you the last two elements. If you want the last element, you will put -1. And so on. The same concepts that we covered before. If you remember, um, if you have like the word hello, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's like the -1, -2, -3, -4. I think it's like So the same concept will be applied here. Okay. So this is all the knowledge you need for this week quizzes and the labs. So good luck.